Some of you even out there do not have national IDs. That is actually, I don't know if it is part of the crimes, but it should be a crime. As a grown-up citizen, you must be having a national ID currently. But well, yesterday was the 27th, and we saw the mass renewal taking course in different places, and of course we also appreciate you for the turn-up. The turn-up was really amazing in different places, and extraordinary people did turn up for that. But well, today we're going to be talking about an update in that regard, and what is required, what you should do as a person, where are these registering centers. All that will be given to us, and of course here with me in studios we're having partnered people to discuss this. And once again, it's a pleasure to have Mr. John Toa Bahemuka, who is the Manager Compliance at the National Identification Registration Authority, NIRA. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you too for always having us here, and I'm glad to be here.
All
Good
right.
morning, listeners and viewers.
And we have Mr. Edwin there at the extreme end, and he is the Manager Registration Operations. You're most welcome once again.
Thank you, and good morning, viewers and listeners.
So first and foremost, Mr. John, can you give us an update of what transpired so far, majorly zeroing it down to yesterday?
All right. Yesterday, 27th of May 2025, marked the commencement of the mass renewal and mass registration of national ID cards. The Minister of Internal Affairs did, by a declaration, set the 27th of May as the start date for the mass registration and mass renewal of the national ID cards that are really about to expire. And we kicked off as the National Identification and Registration Authority. We kicked off with that exercise following his prescription of the duration and period of registration, and started across the country. So basically what Ugandans had been waiting for to renew their expiring national ID cards, and also for those who have never registered, including children, we commenced the exercise officially yesterday, and it was a great success from the reports that we have received.
Wow, very interesting. So maybe if I can ask Edwin, where exactly are these registering points? Where exactly in our places should the people out there go?
Oh, thank you so much. Registration is taking place in all districts of Uganda. And yesterday and today, we concentrated on areas that are not very far from where we are stationed.
Okay.
We are in towns, especially the host towns, where our offices are. Our offices are in the major towns of Uganda. But something that is unique with Kampala is that our offices are in the 5 divisions of Kampala. Because of how it is, the population and the nature of the people that we serve.
Okay.
But then for Wakiso, our offices are also in 4 places. But then outside our offices, we have moved to yesterday and today. We limited ourselves not exceeding 10 kilometers. Because we have new equipment, new staff. Yesterday was the first day, so today we have moved further, and we are expanding to all the parishes of Uganda. So I believe that by end of 2 weeks, we will have fully established in all the parishes of Uganda, and we will be able to register people. Okay. But right now, if you are within the reach of about 10-15 kilometers, you will definitely see us. But majorly we are, for example, up country, we are in the nearest offices, town councils, the bomas, the division offices where they are located, But then in Kampala here, we are also in the divisions, where the division offices are. We have also moved to different institutions. So you will find us where the police is. You will find us at other institutions that have a very huge crowd. But also you will not miss us. You will not miss getting us.
Okay.
But what I can assure you is that we are going to cover all parishes of Uganda.
How long is this exercise?
This exercise is going to last for 8 months.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, very interesting. And now maybe if we can look back to what happened yesterday, were there any challenges? What things do you hope the public can help with so that we can have a smooth process? Mr. John.
Yeah, well, being day one, for us at NIRA, it was largely a success because we had been preparing this for this day for the last so many months. We had trained our persons who were recruited on how they should operate the kit. We had also trained our persons on how to manage the data that they get from the field. So and also the setup really of the registration centers. Like my colleague said, we are exponentially moving out from the center. So these first few days really is for us to get to pick out the few things that we may not have foreseen and make them better. So that by the time we are fully spread out across the country, in the farthest parishes in the country, we're at our best. So yesterday, for us, it was really largely a success. We had many people come, and the beauty about it is that you can start the process out of the registration center. You start it online. We sent out the links beforehand to people, and they were able to pre-register online for renewal of the national ID card. So that in itself was a plus for us because NIRA has never had an online presence, and yesterday was the first of its kind.
Okay.
So of course people, we are going, lack of information, but the reason as to why we are here actually is to give them information about how they can get to the services. People still think that you need to only go there manually to get the application started, and we received such kind of people, but we are telling them that you can actually start it at the comfort of your office, at your own space, an internet cafe, where you go and go to the NIRA website and start it from there, and you just only come to the registration center to have your biometrics updated. So that in itself for us is a major milestone, and just the shifting of the mindset of the public that NIRA is still manual process entity is that which we are going to continue talking about. So we had many people coming in to have it manually, to go through a manual process, yet we also have an online presence that really we have introduced to this country.
Maybe you can expound more on the online process, how it is done and what is expected to be done. Then afterwards, what should someone do?
Okay. So the key services that we are starting with right now, we have, like we mentioned earlier, the fresh registrations, persons who have never registered, that is inclusive of children. Yeah. So previously the perception that the public had was that only national ID registration or NIN registration is for adults. But no, the law says from day one, when as a child is born, you should have register that child and issue the child a national identification number. So you can go to the NIRA website and present your particulars, your textual information about yourself online. If you're a child, a person a parent or a person, a guardian or a person having parental responsibility over the child is required to log into the system, the NIRA website, registration function, and then you follow the prompts. You shall then follow the form that enrollment form 3 by law, which was gazetted for us to pick information, is the one that is online. Okay. So you fill in that information online and then upload supporting documents. So if you're a fresh person who's registering, we still require you to have the LC1 letter that speaks about your indigenous community, where you're from, your clan, your tribe, of course your name, and the person who is against who you are getting that NIN assignment. If it's your parents and your parents are alive, we expect you to attach a photocopy of your parents' national ID. Okay. However, if your parents are deceased, we expect you to attach either your grandparents or your living blood relative. That's if you're a citizen of Uganda by birth. Okay. And then it's a declaration to introduce you as a person who is a citizen of Uganda. Those documents, at the time of applying online, they are really optional, but it's mandatory that you come with them when you're now coming for your biometric capture. Okay. Because then our officers are required to confirm the authenticity of those documents and also to have an interaction with you, just to be sure that the information you're giving us is accurate. Okay. So it's really a check system, because you don't want it to be open and you think that anyone else, there are requirements, you must fulfill requirements before you're registered as a citizen. Okay. Now, if the person is an adult, the adult will just need to present that same information, but then fill in by themselves. Yes, if you're above 18 years. Right. Now, at the end of the process online, you are given an application ID, yes, or a QR code that you can print out and present at the registration center. Okay. So then you will then start from somewhere at the registration center. So the process will be faster. You won't be able to queue in the long lines as someone who is just coming in to have that manual process then being transferred to the system. Okay. Yes. For renewal, the same. The option that you'll choose online is the renewal, the renewal module, but it is what is required is that you must have your NIN, because you cannot renew what you don't know. We can't renew what we don't know about you. So the NIN is a very important thing that you must know. So you should have your national ID, a copy of it, so that we're able to get accurate information. Because if you provide us with the wrong information, it will delay your own process.
So if someone lost an ID, but they have their NIN, can they renew?
Yes, they can renew. Okay. However, they're required to present a police letter, just confirming that they reported the loss, because it is government property. Okay. Yes. Sir.
Very interesting. And now, Mr. Edwin,
yes.
When I was reading through some documents, I understood that there should be at least like 10 enrollment kits per parish. Won't this be disturbing in some parishes that are overcrowded, but also looking at the days, how many days is this system going to be operational in a week?
Okay, first and foremost, we are going to work for 6 days in a week. 6. We are going to work from Monday up to Saturday. Okay. Then we'll have Sunday as a rest day, and us who are Christians, we go and worship. Okay. But then the 10 kits are actually made to improve on the service. We expect that there will be so many people will come to our registration centers. So we don't want to delay so many people. But then the first kit, we have allocated it to special interest groups. I've allocated it to the elderly, the disabled, the expecting women, and also the children. Okay. When you go to our registration centers, you'll find them marked. Then we'll have a kit that is doing renewal. Actually, a number of them that are doing renewals. Then we have other kits that are doing registration. So the number is just to ensure that we give a service in the fastest way possible.
Okay, that's very interesting. By the way, also, maybe something I had forgotten, I saw it on our socials. Someone was asking if they are in need of changing some credentials. Does it also apply here, or you have to go to the other process that has been going on?
When you talk of changing, there are so many things you can change on a national ID. But for this particular exercise, we are not changing anything.
Okay.
Those who want to change, still the service of change, we call it change of particulars. It is still ongoing, but it can only be accessed from our NIRA offices in the districts. But when you find us out in the field, we are only doing two things. We are renewing the IDs that have expired or that are yet to expire, or we are registering fresh registration. Someone who has never been registered. The rest of the services will be got from our district offices.
Okay.
I'd also just to add on change of particulars that it is important for the public to know that even if we're having this mass registration and mass renewal, the requirements for change of particulars, the legal requirements still remain the same. It is not an opportunity for you now to abandon your information, then come under the guise of a fresh registration. That application will not be successful because we have your information. So you may actually proceed to present yourself as a fresh person registering for national ID. You'll be successful at the point of pre-registration. You will be successful at the point of the capture of web biometrics. But when we are processing that data, it shall be rejected because we already have your information. So do not, please, I implore you to don't try to register afresh. Yes, even if you come with totally different names, totally different birth, at some point, that information will meet with what we have in the system. So if you want to correct your information, if you want to change any information, if you want to update anything about your prior information, you're please advised to come to our NIRA offices, because that's the only place where that service shall be undertaken, because it has a process and the verification is different as opposed to what is in the field in the parishes. Yeah, so that's my advice to Ugandans. Please, if you want to correct inner information, if you want to change your other particulars, the legal requirements still stay. They are on our website. You can download and get the requirements needed, and then you go to the NIRA district office. That process to be completed.
Maybe to supplement on what my colleague John is saying, changing of information on a national ID happens because of two things. It happens because of a mistake, or it happens because someone desires to change. But I want to speak to mistakes. Mistakes can be made by the applicant or the person who is applying for the ID. Or a mistake can be made by us, the NIRA officials. But to avoid that, we have provided the technology to enable the person who is being registered to see what is actually being input in the system. Our registration machines have two screens. They have a screen that the registration officer is using, and they have a screen that the applicant is using. So as the officer is typing this side and inputting information, you as someone who has come for registration, you are seeing from your screen what this person is typing. And if you realize a mistake, please talk about it so that it is changed. But also at the end of the registration process, we require you to confirm that this is true to the best of your knowledge, that is the information that relates to your particulars. Then you sign against it, and you actually confirm that it is the information you're giving. I also advise the public out there, give us the correct information. Issues to do with changing your particulars on a national ID or in the system, they are very complicated. They take long. Now, most times when we are talking about it, we talk about it casually until when someone goes through the process. That's when they realize that it is tedious, it is long, it involves a lot of verification. Where my colleague John was talking about it, verification at times involves CID to confirm. So I wouldn't advise someone to go through that unless if they desire it. But if you can avoid it, just give us the correct information, and you'll not hassle.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. Thank you so much, Edwin. Now we are going to go in for a very short break, and when we return, we shall be talking about also the role of you people out there. What are you supposed to do, of course, to help NIRA carry out its exercise very well and smoothly? But well, quite a number of things to discuss. We shall also be able to see there are people who can be able to guide those ones who are maybe a little bit illiterate or vulnerable. All those things are going to be discussed, so please stay on, but we hit a break.
Issues at hand. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
Oh yes, welcome back. It is Issues at Hand, and we are talking about national IDs, something that is very important. But also remember, there is a mass renewal and also enrollment for those who have not had national IDs at all in their lives. Now, when we are discussing here, we did talk about those who have lost their national IDs but would want to renew. And there is clarity. I understand you've been paying 50,000 shillings to have this process done. But right now, we shall seek clarity from the officials from NIRA, that is, of course, John and Edwin, who are here to take us through this discussion. And, of course, I'll take it straight to John. We are not required to pay now.
No. This exercise is completely free of charge. No one is required to pay any fees. Okay. If you're coming to register for the first time, you are not required to pay fees. If you're renewing your national ID card, you are not required to pay fees. Okay. Also, you are, for those who have lost, and this question has come out many times, I'd like to take this opportunity to clarify. For those who have lost their cards, okay, and would like to renew their national ID card, you will be required to present a police letter as evidence that you reported the loss of that card. Okay. And then you should, of course, be knowing your NIN. If you have a photocopy of that lost card, the better. And you will not be required to pay for the loss of that card because you are going to issue with a new card. However, if you lose this new card and you're coming to replace it, that is when you're required to pay the 50,000. Okay. So for the first time, because what you are going to do, you're not coming to replace the lost one. You're coming to renew because I'm going to give you a new card with new features. Okay. But if you now go ahead to lose that renewed card which we have given to you free of charge, that is when you'll be required to pay the 50,000. So please, once you get the card, keep it well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And now, Edwin, you did talk about confirming credentials by the person who is being registered. When someone is not a little bit educated, they may not be able to understand the language being used, which is English in this case. Is there support staff that can help, or are they required to come with someone that can help them do that kind of guidance?
Thank you so much. We have tried as much as possible to recruit people from their own communities.
Okay.
So that they are able to help the people who are coming for registration. So we have tried as much as possible to ensure that they know the languages of the areas where they are going to register from, and they know the local dynamics. However, if someone comes with somebody to help them, well and good. But our staff are there. In fact, actually, on each machine, we have provided an extra one staff specifically to help clients, to help in the filling of the forms, to attend to any inquiries that may arise. Okay. So the support will be there, people will be there to help in filling of the forms and attend to any inquiries.
Okay, very interesting. What is the target this time around? How many national IDs are expected to be renewed? What is the target of NIRA?
So we expect to renew 15.8 million cards.
Wow.
There that have expired or due to expire in this time, and also we have a target of registering 17.2 million persons, both children and adults who have never registered. So really by the end of the 8 months, as Edwin has stated, we hope that we shall have a covered ground. And our hope is that by the end of the 8 months, no one in this country should say, as long as a citizen, should say he or she has not registered. Because you have come to the parish, I don't know what excuse you'll have for not registering. And they see the difference between the registration now and that of 2014. 2014, 15, people did not take it serious. They didn't know that the national ID will be part and parcel of your livelihood. But now they know it.
Yeah.
So really, Ugandans, please take this opportunity that the government has invested in helping you acquire this document very serious, because now you know that without it, you're not able to transact, you're not able to do so many things. Yes, so even the PDM cash that the government is giving you to support your livelihood, you need to have a NIN, because government needs to pay on somebody that they are not a ghost. So please ensure that you get that NIN, that card. Have your children even registered, because now even in education services, when you're registering for your national exams, those entities need the NIN. Yeah, so there are many benefits attendant to it, and also it helps the country in planning. When we are planning for you, when the government, Ministry of Finance is planning for resource allocation, it should be planning based on actuals. You know, so really, I implore the citizens to take this opportunity to have their persons who are not registered, but also to renew their cards for use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Edwin, in 2021, during the political season, we are being told to get our national IDs. Then you wait for the process of elections. Are they attached in any way? And this time around, will the IDs be out by that time of voting?
Yes, the IDs will be out by the time of voting.
Oh.
But the linkage between the ID and the voting process is purposely for identification. So when you're going to vote, they must know who is voting. You're voting against your name, you're voting against your name. So basically, the ID supports the electoral process by way of identifying the voter.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now let's talk about the new features that are being included in this national ID.
Well, there are quite a number of features, and those features, one, there are security features to ensure that your ID is very credible. It cannot be forged. It is up to international standards, but there are also features to facilitate the use of the ID. When you reach a registration center, you will find a gadget that is white and looks like binoculars. So this time, that one is an iris scanner. We are picking the iris from your eyes and including it on your ID as a biometric feature. Now, why we are including the iris? One, it is to conform to the international standards and to ensure usage of the ID at an international level. However, also, it is to reinforce the biometrics on the ID. There are people who do not have hands, so have no fingerprints. And even others have hands but have no fingerprints. The ridges of the fingers are worn out. So the biometric that we capture thereafter is the face, the image. But we are reinforcing that with the iris.
Okay.
In Uganda, we call it a munye. So when you see that gadget is specifically for that. But then we are also, the new ID has many tactile features on it, especially the texts. The name, the NIN, the ID number, the serial number of the card, the date of birth, those ones are tactile. I don't know how I can explain it in a better way, because tactile seems too technical. Okay, it has a raised surface. So when you pass, we have done that so that our friends who are not able to see who are blind can read, can touch the surface of the ID and read and know that this ID belongs to Edwin Tukamheba and his name is this and the date of birth is this. But then also the national ID has got features that are visible with the naked eye, others are visible under the UV light, others are visible under microscopes, others are visible with other gadgets that we may not clearly elaborate here. But that we have done to ensure that the ID conforms to international standards, which are both ISO standards and ICAO standards, and to ensure that it is compliant with the rest of the world.
Okay.
And also to ensure that you cannot forge it.
Well,
I just also need to supplement something. We've been having activists, you know, saying that our ID system and design was excluding so many people. The theory of exclusion, that on one hand the government is made it compulsory, but on the other hand it is not compatible to inclusive to have everyone with those different immobilities. But like you've heard from the manager of our operational field registration, that the new ID really, we had those cries, and in design of the new ID features we made sure that we have everyone at least on board, that it can be used by those people you mentioned, the blind, able to read using your fingers, those whose fingerprints were degenerated and worn out, at least we have more than another biometric feature, that is the iris. So the design and also meeting, of course, international standards and security standards on the safety of the card, that it cannot be easily forged, and then you can easily also verify it online.
Okay.
You know, so all those new features and designs were really meant to have everyone use the card, and that I can tell you we've achieved.
Okay.
Yes.
And then there are some false information, or can say myths. I remember when we were registering, it was 2014, around 2013, 2014, people would say the government is going to take your information, things like that. How have you continuously carried out this sensitization to the people so that they can know that this is done out of goodwill? And then also, yesterday during some of the media interviews on different sports or different areas where the registration was happening, people were still asking themselves the other question that we have always addressed: how can national IDs expire? How continuously have you addressed such majorly to such kind of people?
Yeah, I'll speak on the issue of the assurance of the people that the government wants their data. First of all, we have laws on data protection and privacy that we as NIRA follow to the latter. And that was the worry of the persons 10 years ago, but I can tell you right now, I am sure that has changed, because we are keeping this data in trust of the citizens. We follow that the government went ahead even to enact a data protection and privacy law, just as to demonstrate that it actually does not intend to misuse any data, both in its possession and also for the private persons, because it regulates use of private data. The data that we collect is personal data, and actually sensitive data about a person. You cannot access that data without the consent of that person. And you can try to walk to NIRA and think that you can get data about anyone. You will not get it without the consent of the data subject. And even we have had technological developments with this new system that even will make it very difficult for a person to think he can access personal data without the data subject knowing. So so everyone who wants to access data must seek the consent, and we have procedures, even forms in NIRA that we request persons to fill in. The consent is required in a particular format. But also, if you do not have the consent, you are required to get a court order. Yeah, so you demonstrate to court why you need to pick my data without my consent. So there is a full legal regime and requirements and procedures that we follow. So no one should have a belief or suspicion, perceived or actual, that government is using that data without or for ill motives. No. Yeah. The only data that is available is statistical data. You know, how many Ghanaians are there, how many female, but about yourself and in the person, the information that is sensitive personal data, it has a protocol on how it can be accessed, and what assurance I can give that cannot be accessed without the consent of the data subject, or the exception is if there is a court order to that effect.
Okay.
We also have the Data Protection Office that we've been working closely with, that we have actually even continued to educate and train our staff how to manage personal data and the risks associated with abuse of the personal data.
Okay, very interesting. And now, Mr. Edwin.
Maybe if I could chip in to what John was explaining. This data is for the benefit of everybody, not only government. Because when you have a national ID, you are able to access other service or other government services, even private sector services. But I want to give an example. Most of us have bought items. We have bought land, we have bought borders, we have bought cars. When you are buying land from somebody, you ask for a national ID to confirm that he's the actual owner. Now that benefit goes to you as an individual because you're not defrauded. So I want the public to look at it, that the ID actually benefits them more than it benefits government. Because government has got very many ways of having information, and it's true, they have the information. But specifically for the national ID, identification majorly benefits the owner of the ID and even the public.
Okay. How are we going to deal with NASA IDs? Where people have very many copies of their national IDs. Is it going to be the case with these new ones?
Well, we have done as much as possible to ensure that the public will be able to see that this is a NASA ID, this is an original ID. On the face of the ID, we have a magic text. If you flip the ID, there is a word that will move according to the way to which direction you will flip the ID. If you move it, if you flip it left, the word will go left. If you put it right, it will move right or front and back. So I believe that NASA right now cannot do that. It cannot do that because the government has invested in extremely heavily to ensure that the ID cannot be forged.
Okay.
So where we have got that technology, in other countries where it exists, we have not seen anybody at least forging that feature. And that feature will be visible to everybody. You'll be able to get your ID and shake it, and that word will shake. You flip the ID, the word will flip. So with quite other features on that ID, really it will be extremely hard for NASA to forge the IDs. And I would also caution them. Maybe John will talk more about the offenses relating to forging a national ID. But why should they forge in the first place? The ID is free of charge. Why should you go to forge? So maybe John could actually speak more into that.
Yeah, so basically it is an offense to forge a national ID. We have it in the Registration of Persons Act, and you can be in prison for up to 7 years for forgery of a national ID card. But also, those equipment used by law will be confiscated. Yes, so really it will be a very risky venture for you if you think that you are going to go out there and forge a national ID card.
Okay.
And the investment, like my colleague mentioned, is this card cannot be forged because the features there really, it will also be a very huge investment
for them.
for them really.
Okay.
And the returns really may not be worth the investment. So, but also we are going to continue sensitizing the public. We're going to continue sharing information on how you can verify a national ID card. Also authenticating the same online, also at a physical look. So that information will continue sharing with the public. But like mentioned earlier, this is a free of charge document. You just get it for the first time and keep it safe, so that then you not have ideas of forging. But also then, those who don't qualify, if you're a non-citizen, don't attempt to present yourself as a citizen of Uganda for purpose of registration, because that in itself is also an offense. So we have partnered with our colleagues in the security agencies, the internal security structures will be verifying information. So please don't try to present yourself as a citizen of Uganda whereas not, because you shall be apprehended and you'll be arrested. If you're here and you don't have legal stay or you've not regularized your citizenship, we have a Department of Government, an agency of government called the National Citizenship and Immigration Board at Internal Affairs. You go, present yourself and regularize your citizenship status, then you come with the documentation. If it's a citizenship by naturalization, come with a certificate. If it is by registration, come with a certificate. If it's dual citizenship, first acquire that certificate, then come to NIRA, and then we shall treat you and register you equally like any other citizen of Uganda.
Well, thank you so much, John. Unfortunately, time has really caught us very badly. Maybe in just 10 seconds each, we can say out the most important information, and then we say bye-bye to the people.
Well, I want to speak very quickly about, people have been asking, why does an ID expire? And people have been saying, my ID has expired, so my citizenship has expired, I'm no longer Ugandan.
Hey.
On the ID serves two purposes. Citizenship, your citizenship is embedded in the NIN. The NIN never expires, and it remains the same, and it never changes. Then the other part of the ID is for identification. In fact, the Baganda put it better in Ndagamuntu. Your Ndagamuntu or your ID must represent the holder. Now we applied for these IDs in 2014 and 2015. That's 10 years ago. The way I looked 10 years ago is not the same way I look now. If I presented that ID and myself, the image is completely different. Therefore, the ID stops being Ndagamuntu. It actually becomes something different. It becomes a document that cannot identify me. So it's for purposes of identifying, and across the group, where there is an identification document, it must be updated all the time.
Okay.
So that speaks to the expiry. However, it is also an issue of the law. The law requires it obligates us to renew those IDs after 10 years.
Okay.
And also, you people, technology changes. Your needs change as the technology changes. So we are bringing a new ID with more features, more technology, and so that you are able to use it. So that's what I can actually say for now, and also to make it safe, so that you cannot forge it. Majorly, that's why that ID expires, and the law still provides that it's expires after 10 years. So after 10 years, we'll still renew these IDs unless if the law is changed.
Okay. John, in just 5 seconds, please.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. My last important word to the citizens out there that this is a free exercise. Please do not pay any money. If anyone purports to ask you for money to solicit, please report. That is a crime. This mass renewal is free of charge. This mass registration is free of charge. So take the opportunity. If there are any instances of corruption, please report. Report to your local council leaders, report to the RDCs, because they are going to be monitoring these activities. Report to NIRA, we have a reporting line. Email report corruption@nira.go.ug. So then together we should make it a very convenient process for everyone. We have tried to, in our ways, improve our technology. That has been the biggest impediment to service delivery, but with this new technology, we sincerely hope that we shall improve the service for the betterment of all citizens of Uganda. So take the advantage and renew your national ID as early as possible.
All right, thank you so much. Let me hope this time around the cameras are also upgraded, because the photos we had. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I hope you've picked very important information. Make sure you run to your nearest place and be able to renew your national ID. And in case you do not have any before, make sure you go and also be enrolled and have yourself a national ID, because right now it is a need. I can say that. I want to appreciate you for joining us this morning. Please stay on for more programs, but for now it is a bye-bye.
Issues at hand. This is Church of Uganda